Welcome to Season 3 of Trap Talk.
Brought to you by Craigoff, the choice of champions.
All right, folks, we got to take a quick second and give a huge shout out to our title sponsor, Craigoff. Me and Ricky both shoot them. We both love them.
Yeah, best gun in the industry. I shoot them. I sell them. Nothing better, folks. Get yourself a Craigoff. Your scores will increase.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky's got hundreds and hundreds of hundreds with his. I mean, I've got a few hundreds, but I'm always working to get a little bit better, and they definitely help me, that's for sure. So on top of that, we also got to thank Winnig. I'm wearing the shirt today. Love this shirt. If you're down at the Grand, pick one up.
Yeah, Winnig, like I said, Zach, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds with my Winnig stock. You know, get a hold of Bobby, Luke, Bill, get an appointment set up. They will make you a better shooter with that Winnig stock.
Of course, yeah. The Grand's the great place to do it. Give them a call. Get on their book. It's worth your time.
Just remember, winners shoot Winnigs.
With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
Welcome back, Trap Talk listeners. I'm your host, Zach Nannini. I'm here with my co-host, Richard Marshall Jr., and we are enjoying this summer weather, getting ready for the Illinois State Shoot, getting ready for Ohio, and getting ready for many other adventures coming down the pipe. How's it going today, Rick?
Oh, it's a busy day. I just flew in last night from Little Rock, taught down there. The University of Arkansas Kazatat shotgun sports team. Brett Blackburn, their coach, so he brings me in and did a wonderful 2-day lesson with the team. Yeah, and so flew in late last night and jumping on a flight here in about 4.5 hours.
You know what?
And heading to
I'm glad
Cleveland.
you're dedicated to getting us content while you're in between your travels. So he's
That's
here.
right.
He could be sitting there playing video games or eating, and no, he's like, no, I'm not doing that. We're doing content today. So thanks, Ricky, for giving us your time, and
Yep.
I appreciate it. So today, I know we formed a really good partnership with Trapshooting USA and all the other magazines. They're the official magazine of Trap Talk Podcast, and what we've decided to do is do a little bit of review on the magazines that are coming out. So right now, we've kind of went over the May, June, and me and Ricky have read through it, and picked out some highlights that we want to discuss today, among other things. But really just to highlight the fact that they're doing a great job with their articles. On top of that, Matt gave us a great news for a discount for all of the Trap Talk listeners. Right now, if you would like to get the print and digital version, normally that's $50 for the year, $49.95, and right now he's doing a code for $19.99. The code is Trap Talk P, all uppercase, TRAPTALK P, all uppercase, for that discount code. And for the digital copies, normally it's $19.95 for the year, and he's dropping it down to $9.99. So there's no reason why you guys shouldn't have the digital copies. Right now, I'm looking at the digital copy. I get on my computer at work and I just look through it. And for $9 a year to get every magazine that they have, it's really a cheap value. So that code is all uppercase, Trap Talk D. So one's Trap Talk P, one's Trap Talk D. Type that in when you're subscribing, and you'll get a discount for the year, which is awesome. So, and along with that, if you do, you get entered in automatically for the drawing for the gun at the Grand. So I know we're still trying to figure out logistically how that's all going to work, and we're going to figure out like the gun and the time and the drawing. But Trap Talk will definitely be pulling the number or pulling the name and giving that out. And you don't need to be present to win. You don't have to be at the Grand. You just have to renew your subscription to Trapshooting USA or any of the magazines for that matter. So with that being said, let's get down into it, Rick. So when you scanned the magazine and kind of went through, and I know we don't want to get in too much detail because people are going to read the magazines themselves, but what were some things that you looked at and that were interesting articles in the places that we've gone to and the things that we've done that they highlighted in this episode?
There are several in there. I mean, we got the Hall of Fame stuff in there with Dean Newman and our lovely friend Tim Reed. There's stuff in there about the Spring Grand. There's some stuff in there, the college stuff too. That's a great thing about this magazine. They cover all aspects of trap shooting, not just the ATA registered shoots, So, they got the issue in there. I think it was the ACUI Midwest
Regionals.
Regionals was in there, and that was held in Sparta. I think Lindenwood, which is your
Correct.
alma mater. They dominated, and it's soon to be Tyler's college.
He's
university.
excited to go.
So-
I mean, he shot really well last
Yeah.
week at the U.S. Open. I know him and Anna were down there shooting
Yeah, he
and
did.
doing really well. And
Yep.
we just actually, a shout out to Anna Raw, because we got her on and she's wearing our patches around the country now on our vest. So thank you, Anna, for supporting us and being a loyal advocate of Trap Talk. But kind of looking back, I know we did the SHOT Show episode, but there's a nice article that Sandra Joe Jack wrote in here going over, the SHOT Show experience. And, just to reiterate it, it's not a public show, so it's not available for everyone to go to it. But from time to time, through relationships in the industry, if it's something that you could ever get a pass to go do, I know me and Ricky really love doing it, and we have a great time.
It's a great time.
It's just the fact that you have everyone in the shooting industry there, and it being at Vegas with the nightlife and with the restaurants and with all the fun stuff that we got going on. I mean, I know last time we went out there after we got done, shooting content, which we got a ton of content. We went and had a little Trap Talk team dinner, which was a lot of fun, and just just enjoy it. But if you're a gun nut and you want to see everything gun related, you're not going to really find a better place than SHOT Show.
No, and it's one of those shows that like Zach said, folks, it's not open to the public. So you've got to be in the shooting industry, work in the industry, police officers, can get into and such, military. But it is an awesome show if you've never been there. Now, I've been to about 20 plus of them. So it's, I go and I know what I want to go look at, boop, boop, boop. And then I go off and do other things, in Vegas. But, SHOT Show is always a great time. A lot of new stuff you could see. But with today's technology and social media, you can also see it on there too.
Yeah, it's becoming more accessible. I think, a lot of the deals are done at SHOT Show where you're meeting with your sponsors and you're kind of connecting with those people and maintaining those relationships. And so it really is, B2B more than anything. But I do know some people that are friends of the industry that, can, get a pass every once in a while and check it out. And if they can, then that's, that's a wonderful thing. I think the more approachable show, Gary Fitzgerald did an article in here, the SCI convention in Nashville, Tennessee, and that is open to everyone. So if you have to be a member. You have to just join SCI to get in. And I have not been to that. And I think that's something that we ought to look at. I really do. I think next year Trap Talk goes to SCI because I know Craigoff goes to SCI, and I think we could get some good content there. I know Chrissy was telling me about it, and I think Alex even shows up too, and they do a great job. But for just looking at all the great hunting stuff, I know we had Freddie Heritos on the other day, and talked more about hunting and that journey. And I'm sure he's going to SCI. Like it's.
Oh yeah. And I think that would be an awesome deal to go to, and get a lot of good content. And next year it is back. I'm just looking it up. It's back in Nashville, and it's in February. Perfect. So it's February 18th to the 21st.
That's after the spring round, I think.
Yeah, are the dates even out yet for the spring?
I don't know. We'll have to follow back up on that. That'll be another episode. I don't think they're officially out yet, but maybe I'm wrong. But
I don't know.
I want to spend a little bit of time talking about our inductees into the magazine, because I've known Tim for a very long time. I've known Dean Newman for a very long time, and with Tim, I mean, I've known Tim, I would say, a little bit better. I shot with him a lot back at Vernal. And for you guys listening to the show today, he's agreed that he wants to do a podcast with us. So come at the Grand this year. I think we're going to sit down with Tim and we're going to hear his whole story and all of his trap shooting accolade, because he's an excellent shooter. But the thing that I like about Tim is he's just a funny guy. I mean, we're always, when we went to Vernal all those years ago, we were playing hearts or we were playing You were playing hearts or liar's dice or whatever it was, and you couldn't go anywhere without him drinking one of those Mountain Dew Code Red cans. Like he was Code Red. We called him Code Red when me and Jerry Parr were sitting there and we're playing hearts, and he'd pound like 10 or 15 of these things in a day. And I hope he doesn't anymore, because I don't know how you could survive that barrage of sugar and caffeine. But
yeah.
But as far as his shooting ability, I mean, Vernal is one of the places that I always knew him to really perform. He was, back in the day, he was always putting up, 97, 98, 99. And I think he's even run a couple hundreds at Vernal from the fence. I mean, I don't want to.
He's had multiple hundreds in Vernal from the 27. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. No, Tim could shoot. I love, in his article, he did state about, being in the grand double shoot off with me and Harlan. And, I thought it was funny. I had a lot of people actually, when this article came out, asked me about it. And I said, yeah, it was down to, myself and Tim and Harlan, and Harlan missed. And then, I was like, okay, well, backing up, the shoot before that at Iowa, Harlan and I had shot off a couple hundred in the double shoot off. And I don't remember who won. Harlan. I think Harlan actually might have won that shoot off. And so when we got to the grand and that happened and Harlan missed, I was like, oh, okay. Well, that was down to me and Tim. And I was like, yeah, this won't last too long because Tim shoots pretty fast. But in that article, he put that he wasn't sure he could beat Harlan, but he thought he could beat me. And then in the fourth round, when he missed one, I said, bye-bye. So,
well, yeah, I mean, I did read that and I kind of chuckled because I don't think we'd be bringing it up today if he didn't put it in this article. But
no.
I read it. It's got little air quotes and it says, I thought I could beat Rick. And I said, well, sometimes you think you can, sometimes you can't. I mean, it is what it is. But
now talking about that spot, and this is a prime deal for our shooters out there is, Tim said it, right in that article. He said he remembers his mindset changed. It was a distraction that cost him a target, well, and that is true. Anytime it's just like me, when Harlan missed, I was like, oh, but I went, okay, you got to do your job, finish your job. And then I did, and where Tim, it let him get the best of him.
I've had that happen myself, and you have to think, I mean, now we're getting technical and we're getting education side, which I really love for the show. But if you're in that position, you're like, okay, that's Ricky Marshall, that's Leo Harrison, that's Sean Hawley, that's Foster Barthel, whoever, and you're like, that's the one I'm worried about. You're giving them power. Yep. Instead of focusing on what you need to be focusing on, you're giving them, you're taking your mind and you're saying, oh, well, that's Dagan Voigtman, that's Ian Lawrence, that's whoever. And you're giving them strength when you do that. So at the end of the day,
absolutely,
you have to be in a position where you're not really thinking about who is on the line at all. And even if it gets to the point where they miss a bird and it's like, okay, I've got a couple more to go till I win this thing. You can't even be really thinking about the bird they missed because 9 times out of 10, if you're like, oh, they're down one and I just got to clean these out, then boom, you squirt one, right? What if you're just focused on what do I have to do to break these targets in front of me and make sure that they get broken no matter what, regardless of what anyone's doing, the better. I think some of the best shoot-offs I've had where I ended up winning, thankfully, were multi-field shoot-offs where I didn't know who was shooting what on the other fields, because you could have everyone miss on your field, but you're like, it doesn't matter, because especially like in the clay target, you got 45, people or 50 people out there shooting with 200 straights. So you could have
80,
you
90,
could have everyone on your field miss, but for some reason in the clay target, it doesn't affect your mind because you're just like, this is me versus the target. Where if you get 1 or 2 guys on a field, you're like looking over and it's like, okay, what's that guy doing? Did he miss? Did he not miss? I always feel a little bit better when I'm just out there by myself, or I'm not thinking about anything to do with trying to beat the person that's on the field with me. All right, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a real quick break, and I've got something that I'm so excited to announce. Trapshooting USA has now become the official magazine of the Trap Talk podcast.
No, it's not only Trapshooting USA now. It's Wing and Clay Life Lady Outdoor Lifestyles, and Clay Shooting USA.
I'm just really excited because they make such a high quality magazine. I mean, if you guys haven't had these magazines and you actually get to touch them in your hands, they've got really thick paper, they're really glossy, and they keep it really cool. I mean, I just love it.
The Traveling Gunsmith, and then in this newest episode, we have...
Oh man, look at those handsome guys. I love this. I love it. So also on top of that, Outdoor Pursuits Media, Matt, he's decided that he's going to give away a shotgun at the Grand American this year at our live podcast studio. If you weren't there last year, you missed out. You need to be there this year. It's going to be great. The only thing you have to do is either renew or subscribe to any one of these magazines, and you're going to be in for the drawing for the gun. And we're going to have all that information in the future. Just look out for it, and we'll keep you updated for sure. All right, Trap Talk listeners, let's take a couple seconds and thank a couple more sponsors. First of all, Remington's been with us since day one. I've been shooting these shells since 2007. I shoot the Nitro 27 from the 27-yard line, ounce and eighth, 7.5, and STS, ounce and eighth, eighths for singles and doubles. They've worked great for me, as they do a lot of top shooters all around the country. Give them a try. Don't forget the Gun Club line when you're practicing and you're wanting to save a little bit of money.
We'd also like to thank another sponsor, Outlaw Engineering. Randy Freston, R2. I've known Randy since 1988. They do engineering, surveying, drafting, GIS, civil, structural, land development, wetland permitting. They do it all.
And they're friends of trap shooters. I mean, they're a trap shooting family. They've been in the ATA forever. His dad's been involved. They're involved. They're a beautiful family. They're great people. And we just love that they listen to the show, and we love that they support Trap Talk.
Yeah, his dad was past president in 1989. So I really want to thank those guys for the support.
All right, folks, we got to take another quick break and thank one of our show sponsors, 73 Pointers Ranch, Jonesburg, Missouri. Rick and Carla Burke, best place in the area to go shoot chuckers and pheasants and have a great time. Rick, we got to get you down there.
Yeah, I need to come in. Hopefully I can do some hunting with you guys and come to your the annual clay shoot in August right after the Grand.
It's a lot of fun. It's the Optimist Club charity shoot. They throw a charity shoot. They put it on, and it's wonderful. I think last year they had over 100 entries into it, and it's just a good time. All right, folks, we got to take a real quick break and acknowledge the official target of the ATA, White Flyer. They've been sponsoring us since the beginning, and they make a great target. What do you think, Rick?
It's the best target in the ATA. Shout out to everybody there, all the reps, Bill Daniels, Josh Taylor, Nick Arnold, Robert Crow, everything they do for the sport and all the shoots. Really appreciate it.
They're always there. They're always trying to make a better target, and they're always supporting the game that we love so much. With that being said,
let's get back to the show. Yeah, it's one of those that when your mindset, like you said, when it changes to thinking about what everybody else is doing, but and for myself, none of that matters to me at all, because I've always shot as lead off. So as lead off, I always kind of know what everybody's shooting, because when you're changing posts now with the current rules stating that, after the lead off person shoots the first target on the next post, everything is set in concrete. And that's one of the things, and that has never really bothered me, is I know what people are shooting. So I mean, I've been on squads, just like when I broke my 4x4, Matt was on a 399, and so
Bill Martin gave you good advice walking to post one, but that happens.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. When he walked to post one, I was going to 5. Yeah, he just said, "Don't f this up, give me a fist bump," and. And I said, well, I got 395 in the bag, but that's for another time. But so, and getting onto this part of it is, knowing what everybody shot and such, and make sure, because it's all set in stone. I've seen this recently at some shoots, and that's why I'm bringing this up, is people are, I see, changing targets or coercing the scorer into changing their targets after they're done with the round.
Yeah, and that's not legal.
And it'll be like the first post, the second. But now if it's the last post, you can do that. But if it's the first, second, or third, or fourth post, you can't do it. And I witnessed this at a couple shoots this year, and I said something both times. And one of the individuals he didn't get mad, but he was more or less, mind your own business type deal. Well, when I'm walking up there to give them my score sheet and they're up there, well, no, I didn't miss that. I didn't miss the second target out, and they're done. And the score's like, and they're like, you need to change that. You can't do that.
It's not
that's
right.
just,
The only thing you can do at the end of it is if you get to the round and it was corrected in the post of, and they didn't write dead or lost on the target, and you've got a line, you've got a circle. At the end of it, you can say, hey, write dead on that box as long as that was to that point. But other than that, I mean, that's the only correction or touch up that I would say is,
and that's just on the
correct.
last post. That isn't on any post after that. That's why I stop. People will see me go back. I go back all the time if there's an issue because of that.
It 100% happens.
And taking taking of targets. We've been seeing this go on lately. There's a wide variety of stuff. So I think, and honestly, I hope, Matt, maybe in Trapshooting USA, we can get an article written on the integrity of the sport.
Just to kind of sidebar for a second, and obviously we're Trapshooting USA, but this is all trap shooting. So anyone that's listening here, and I think this is to shooters, this is to parents, this is to everyone involved, we all need to hold ourselves accountable for keeping the sport at a high integrity level when it comes to, did you break the score you broke, right? If there's a question that you didn't hit the target, I would rather not take it than fight for it or have other people fight for it. Now, if you've got somebody that's seen a chip and you can verify it, then that's one thing. But I think, too many times I'm hearing stories of people say, it might have been the wad or it might not have been broke. But the score, and an example, like in Missouri, we had several times where the scorer thought the wad was a broken target. I mean, the wad flew right by the target, and she called it dead. And we're removing that. So now, no problems on my squad, but I've seen people, in that situation where if the scorer calls it dead, they're not concerned with it at all. They just kind of move on and be like, oh yeah, that's, their eyes are better than mine. We all really know if we hit a target or not. And if you're unsure or you're shooting with some people and you just say, hey, did I hit that or did I not hit that? There's no way that all five eyes looking at a target is going to be like, yeah, you did or didn't hit that. I mean, they're going to be honest with you. And I hate to hear if there's people in the country that are like so concerned with winning or, building their scores up that they need to, cheat in any way, shape or form. I mean, it's not, I don't care who you are. It's people are going to figure that out. They're going to see who takes targets and who doesn't. And at the end of the day, it's only going to hurt your reputation. And at the end of it also, it really sucks when you're shooting lights out on the scoreboard and then you end up in the shoot off and you break 21s all the time. And then they're like, oh, how did
he get the shoot off?
He's just always busting 99s and 100s every time he goes to the line. And then, you get there to that shoot off and man, the guy's just real solid at 19. All right, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a quick break and we got to welcome a new sponsor to the show, RGS Bore Stripper. It's a great product. Ricky, tell them how they can find it.
Go to their website, rgsguncleaner.com. You can get the 1 8-ounce bottle, free shipping, 2 8-ounce bottle, and you get the 2-ounce travel bottle, and it's free shipping also. Or just get the little 2-ounce bottle for travel.
Yeah, they sent me some of this product, and I used it on my Krieghoff choke tubes the other day, and it got the plastic out like in a minute, and it was super cool and super good. So if you like cleaning your gun, you like eliminating plastic, and you like shiny bores, give them a try for sure. Thank you so much for supporting the show.
Yeah, we'd really like to thank John Weber, the owner, for the support. He's doing an awesome job.
Yeah, we really want to thank John. We appreciate the support of the show. Anybody that supports Trap Talk, you guys need to support them and get this stuff because it's awesome.
And with that, let's get back to the show. Well, and that's the one thing, I heard about some stuff at the Western Grand, that was talked about that, targets were being taken, they had said, and
it happens at every
things.
shoot.
It's very
It happens
sad.
at every shoot.
It does. Well, I got back to the U.S. Open and, I had, heard that, it's interesting that, and it's the thing is, some of the scores, they can be coerced into doing what the 100%. Shooter wants. And it's
100% they
sad.
can.
And I don't like to see that at all.
I can tell you right now, a scorer is not going to stand up for it. And, it's just not going to happen. I mean, most places in the country, they're going to, give in, which is totally fine. And, I think at some level, cheating happens at every gun club across the country, all over. I think the best thing that we can do to keep the sport strong is if you're seeing it, if you're watching it, then you need to report it to shoot management, right? I mean, and
absolutely. Well, and that's the thing. We talked about this, the other day. We'd heard about stuff, and someone had made a comment that, I've seen it 5 or 6 times. Well, if you've seen it happen, then you need to step up yourself and say, hey, this ain't right.
Correct.
I mean, because it's not good when, there's a lot of rumors flying around all the time and such, and, people winning this, or, this person, won this trophy because, well, they took 4 or 5 targets. What I always say is, rumors are always rumors. If that is the case, go talk to shoot management, have the score sheet pulled, look at it, and they can make
if it
their
looks
decision.
like hieroglyphics on there with the pencil, then you kind of know, hey, how come there's so many dead to lost, dead to lost, dead to lost, dead to lost? I mean, if you see more than
lost to dead.
Well, for me, I'm doing it.
Zach's being dyslexic.
I'm flipping it around, because for me, they're taking them away, but it's okay. But
well, but in all seriousness, though, and I've strived for this my whole shooting career is, if you hit the target, you get it. If you didn't, you don't get it. And that's just plain and simple. And I've seen this a lot where some people are taking winning to a different level and at all costs. And it's just not
I
worth
think it has to do with
mean,
expectation level too. I mean, I love social media, but I hate social media because I feel like nowadays, especially with younger people, they see what other people are doing and they're like, I want to be there. And then where's the shortcut, right? So there's a lot of people in this world that want the shortcut and they want to, get to the point and they want to have the accolade and have the whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, you can't shortcut the game. I mean, you have to shoot the game, and you have to do it for a very, very long time, and you have to, earn your stripes and kind of get into it. But if you're, coming up and you're like, well, I want the sponsors and I want the publicity and I want this and that, I could definitely see how that would be tempting at some level. And me personally, and I've dealt with this. This was a long time ago when I was a junior, but there was kids back in the day that and I did report that were cheating, but it wasn't because they wanted to cheat. It was because their parents were encouraging them to get a win any way they can. So I think sometimes the parents can be just as at blame as the shooters, especially in the younger area, because they're telling them the advice, right? Hey, you can do this, or hey, you can't do that, or whatever that might be. But it's just it's one of those things where you don't want anything to do with it. I mean, you don't want your name around it. You don't want anyone to ever, walk into the clubhouse, and cause it's funny, but there's been times and situations where somebody walks into the clubhouse and, they break the score, and other people are like, they'll sit there and be like, did he really break it? Did he really? And I know when I break my 87, people know that I hit them. Hey, Trop Talk listeners, let's take a quick second to thank a couple more amazing sponsors. SOS Clay's Shoot Management. They're doing a fantastic job. I love the app. I love being able to see everything on my phone instantaneously. It's freaking awesome. Rick, what do you think?
Yeah, Greg Pink and his group over there. I mean, they've got majority of the satellite grands, majority of the state shoots. I think it's 40 plus state shoots they're doing. But the app, honestly, we were doing a little beta testing with that at the Spring Grand. It's awesome. You can see your squad if they paid. You can see your options, your payouts. The whole works at your fingertips. Great deal. They're just
Ricky knew how much money he made before he even got off the line. He was like, hey, I'm buying lunch. I'm like, yeah, good job. We're good to go.
That's
we
right.
also got gun and trophy insurance. I mean, they're the best in the business. I know they're great price. Ricky, you're familiar with them, right?
Yeah, Cole and Larry Cushman been long-time supporters of myself, and I've been a supporter of them, and, especially with my college team. We require insurance. It's so fast and easy to sign up and get your insurance. In literally 10 minutes, you can have your guns insured, and they're just great. They're great to deal with. Like I said, you can do your trophies also, you know, your wildlife animals and that such, and your guns. It's just a great.
It's
product.
always good when you're
Great
traveling
product.
around to have that peace of mind and know that you don't have to worry about losing your stuff forever. And these are expensive things, especially when you got those Craigoffs. You got to keep them insured. So,
Exactly.
with that being said,
let's get back to the show. In all honesty, and that's the thing is, you know, growing up, you know, shoot with Frank Hoppy and Leo. I mean, Frank especially. I shot a lot more with Frank, and I remember one time I shot, pulled it and sent it. I thought, oh, I must have hit it. That was my first reaction. Because when you're under,
You don't
you
know.
can't see a lot of times, you know. No, and they stopped the whole squad and they conversed, and I wasn't in this conversation, and they took it away, and we got done, and I looked at Frank, and Frank goes, "If you hit it, you'll get it." And I said, "So I didn't hit it?" He goes, "No, and you need to police yourself." I said, "Yes, sir." That day forward. And that was my first time ever shooting with Frank. So I was, boom, you know, jumped right into it. So it was a very interesting conversation with him. And then further on about that. But yeah, I've noticed this, and that's why I brought this up is while I was out there, I was made aware of some stuff, and I just told the individuals that, well, if you're seeing it, you gotta.
yeah, everybody's got to step up and hold everyone accountable for the game. I mean, that's just part of it. And
Yep.
you know, if you're seeing it, don't allow it. If you know, and this is where I think that people get a little tempered, is because, you know, for us, we have our 5 group of squad that we run with, and everybody knows how we roll, and it's expected and it's handled. But where I think it gets a little dicey is if you're going to a shoot and you're jumping on a random squad and you don't even know these people, you know, some guy misses the target and then you're going to call him out on it, and he's going to be like, well, I thought, you know, stay out of it. You know, that's it, you know, the scorer's decision at the end of the day. Well, no, honestly, no. If I'm on a random squad of people and somebody hits or misses something, I think you need to step up. And
Yep.
and if somebody's willing to step up and you're on a squad and somebody says, hey, I don't think he hit that, and you don't think the other guy hit it, you better step up and say something too. Don't be like, oh, well, I don't want to get in the middle of it. Like that's the time where you have to,
because that makes you just as
you have
as
to
guilty,
step up and
because you're
correct.
allowing.
You can't
Yes.
let that stuff slide. And especially when there's money on the line and Calcuttas and all these other things that get involved in trap shooting, that, you know, it messes up the points, it messes up the money, it messes up a lot of things, and you don't want to be involved in that. But we went off on a long soapbox there. So back to.
Yes, we did.
We do that sometimes here at Trap Talk. We just get rolling. So with Dean, you know, he's going into the Hall of Fame this year also.
Yep.
And I've known Dean for a very, very long time, and I'm not going to spoil the article, but the thing that I found most interesting about Dean is the fact that he's competed at a very high level, along with running the shoot management side while he's shooting. So,
And he just shot his 500,000
500,000
target.
birds.
Did you not see that,
I did.
Jennifer? They got him a cake.
I did see that, and that is a humongous accomplishment. I know
Yes,
he's been
it
on.
is. So congratulations to Dean. We need to get Dean on
He's
the
another
show.
one that we definitely need to get on, but I just think it's so impressive to do both. You know, I was an MTA board member for, you know, the last few years, and, you know, it got to the point where it was just too much for me and I wanted to step down. And when I see Dean setting targets and then going to these shoots, it's just like, for me, it's like, if I'm on target setting committee or I'm on whatever, you're not 100% focused on, okay, I'm going to shoot. I mean, you're running and you're doing all these other things, and then you're going out to the field and you're rushing it. And he has always been so good at doing that. I mean, he's set so many different.
Well, he set targets at the Grand and shooting and competing.
Winning.
And if people don't realize what it takes to set targets, I mean, years and years and years and years ago in Vandalia, Dean Bright used to be in charge of the target setting there. And I helped Dean a couple years. I was the kid out at the 50-yard stake and, you know, telling him where the targets were landing, how, you know, how far, blah, blah, you know, yada, 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 and did that. And I did that, I think, for 1 week. And I was like, man, I'm freaking tired. And I was a kid. I was like 15, I think, at the time. You know, you got energy balled up, and there's Dean out there setting targets. They'd have an issue, go reset something, and then boom, he's down shooting. And back in those days, he shot with Sean
Yeah.
Hawley, at the Grand. Dean did, or Dean Bright. And now Dean Newman looking at this, setting at the Grand. It's crazy. I mean, you're trying to compete at a high level, and also you're taking care of targets and making sure they're.
Hey, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a real quick break, and we got to thank Ron Prescott from Midstate Precious Metals for everything they do for the trap shooting community, coast to coast, for all your gold and silver buying needs. And on top of that, new announcement, they're a sponsor of the 126th Grand American.
Finally, he said it right, folks. Grand American. Yeah, Ron is a great guy. He's a sponsor of the Back Fence Shootout at Nevada State Shoot and Ohio State Shoot. And also, we got our gold for our Trap Talk event at Nevada State Shoot. And the 77th annual Nevada State Shoot, they bought all theirs from him. 680 ounces of silver to be exact, folks. You're missing out if you're not there.
That's a lot of silver. And honestly, if you're not buying from Ron, you're probably overpaying. So whether you're buying it for your gun clubs or your shoots or for your personal use, you got to give them a try because they're big supporters of the Trap Shooting Nation. So it's awesome. With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
You've got to give some grace to these people. If you're at a shoot and you see the target setting committee and they're working hard, give them a thank you. Tell them thank you for everything. A lot of the times these guys aren't even compensated. I know, a lot of the state shoot ones are not, that come out and set the machines and get everything ready for the shoot and they make it run. If there's anything.
Well, a lot of them are directors and stuff.
Correct. So, it's just another difficult job. And if these guys are winning along doing that, you need to give them some respect and be like, wow, this guy's able to juggle both, because it's not easy.
Yep.
It's really not. I don't care what anyone says. It's not going to be like, oh, I'm just going to get up every day and set targets and then I'm going to, win high overalls and win high all arounds and, win everything. I mean, most people that come to the shoot, they're just there to shoot and they don't have to deal with all the other aspects.
And one thing I will say about Dean, just skimming through his article is, Dean has been on 3 500 by 500.
Yeah, I have not been on any.
Zach, have you been on one?
I've never been on one.
So Zach, I've been on one.
It's a big deal.
And that was in Vandalia, and it was Steve Nyland, Jason Booker, myself, Eric Ardeal, and Ken Evans.
We had a lot of opportunities to do it last year at the Heartland Grand and the year before. I think we almost did one every day. And I feel I'm just going to kind of give a call. I'm going to give a call out here. I feel like if it's going to happen for me, it's going to happen at the Heartland Grand with our Heartland Grand squad, because there are some dingers on that squad for singles. I mean, we got you, we got me, we got Herbert Lewis, we got Justin, and then who's.
And then who else is it?
RBLA.
Rich
the mustard slipped. I almost forgot he was even there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's so I mean, we were pounding those singles over there all the time, and it just feels good. And when you get a bunch of good shooters and the rhythm's there, sometimes magic happens, and we'll
well, and you doesn't even have to be, I mean, the best shooters in the world. It's one of those, it's your day.
It's your day.
I mean, and that's the one thing, but it is crazy that, he's been on several record-setting squads, a handicap squad, 495 out of 500.
That's pretty salty.
And a 499 out of 500 double squad.
That's pretty salty. What's your best doubles squad, Rick? I mean, that you've been on. I mean, I've been on one where we all ran 50 before. I've done that, but I've never been on, anything.
You ever done that? You ever done that with two kids?
No. No, I don't think two kids.
Hey, it was me, Jason Krause, Wyatt Debris, Tyler Marshall, and Justin Debris. We all run the back 50. I think we did it 2 years in a row.
Pounded those damn things. But what
pounded? That was
what
in
do
Wisconsin.
You think your highest highest squad doubles was?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't remember when we shot. I can't remember who was on my squad when I broke my first 100 in doubles, but it was also my first 200 in doubles. And it was, that's a picture of me with my coach and mentor.
You was little back then, bud.
That's when I broke the 200, and he broke 200. So I could have been at Spanish, but I don't think it was. I
remember I remember
I don't
distinctively
know.
being on a squad where there was 300s and 299s, but I don't remember better than that.
Well, Dean's squad, according to the article, it was a
Yeah, I
499.
never got there. That's for sure. But it's, I mean, with the quality of double shooters nowadays, I think the scores are only going to get higher and higher, especially if you're going to Magic Mountain and you're shooting at Spanish Fort. But I got to tell you, some of these targets that are set in the Midwest, they're just as good now. I mean, between Brittany and what they're throwing at Sparta, and it's just
Yeah, Brittany, Sparta, Wisconsin,
Iowa.
Folks. Iowa's
I mean,
been throwing
just
some awesome
you want to hit one.
targets. And now they just went back to the bands.
Yeah.
I heard, instead of the springs. So, but yeah, Stockdale's. Dale throws.
Yeah.
Stockdale shoots probably one of the best shoots in the country.
I can't
by far
disagree with that for 1 second.
I'm hoping to make it there. Move-in day for Lindenwood is Wednesday at the Overall.
Hey, you know what?
Heartland.
If you don't go,
shut up. I don't want to hear you. You still owe me. You still owe me 3 bottles of bourbon for not showing up.
If you don't show up, it's not going to hurt my feelings one bit. I'll just be fine with it. We'll say, oh man, we missed Ricky this week. It's okay.
You know what? Hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have to call Lauren and say, can Tyler move in early?
Yeah. I'll call her too. I'll be like,
yeah.
You hold on to them keys, Lauren. I'll make it worth your while. You keep that big bastard out of Iowa. He's going to take all the trophies and eat all the pork chops.
Oh shoot! But we'll see. I'm going to be there no matter what. I might not make.
I think
HOA,
spectating is a good thing for you, Rick. And just sit in the back, watch the shooters.
I did it the U.S. Open. I came back. Hey, I came back. I didn't shoot. I got it. It was fun. I've been getting to shoot with Tyler last couple years. This year will be the last summer before he goes off to college, and then after that it'll probably
Oh yeah, you'll never see you again. He's gone. He's like, screw Dad. You're loyal to him. You give him a spot. You take him around. You put shells in his gun. Get the entries, and then once he's on his way,
All right, folks, we need to take a quick second and get to a new show sponsor, Big Red Motorsports. Big Red, they're personal friends of mine, Jason and George Lee, and they're also a personal sponsor of mine.
Now, I'll say this. Ricky looked great driving around in that side-by-side. I got some free rides down at Tucson, the Autumn Grand. I think it's awesome that they deliver all across the country, and obviously they love trap shooters, they love trap shooting, and they're doing a great job.
Listen, they got Can-Am, Kawasaki, CF Moto, Triton trailers. Hit them up. We'll take care of you guys. With that being said,
let's get to the show.
He's earned that. He won the HOA Junior Champion this past weekend at the U.S. Open, which I was really pleased because he started leading and never gave up.
Good. Like I told you, I said I've watched him shoot for years now, and out of 1,000 targets, I seen he broke that 965, and I said that's probably about as good of an overall as one of his better ones that he's ever had, if not the best. I mean, I haven't.
Well, and I think he's a little more determined this year. He's kind of he's got his head on a little different, and one of his biggest things was he graduated high school, and like any kid, I mean, you're contemplating what you're going to do with life.
Hey, you're always figuring that out. That's a never changing shift. Before we get out of here, there's a few things that I want to touch on and a few shout outs I want to have. The New Hampshire Trap Shooting Championships, they're coming up with their state shoot in July 25th to the 27th, and they were gracious enough to put Trap Talk in their ad. So we wanted to say thank you for that, and anybody that's looking to go to their state shoot, they've got $2,300 in added money, and they've got about $8,000 in ATA and NHTA trophies. It's at the Minuteman Sportsman's Club in Burlington, MA. So it'd be
Massachusetts.
Yep, Massachusetts, and I think Blaisdell he's from MA, right?
Well, no, Mike is from New Hampshire, from Keene, New Hampshire. So, but they shoot it at Massachusetts.
Why do they shoot it there? So, just the size?
The size of the club is what it is. So yeah, it's they shoot 700 registered targets, pat traps, white flyer targets, and SOS is doing their Friday silver shootout. there at the shoot, which Greg Pink is doing that at a lot of clubs around the country. That's one of the state shoots I'd like to try to hit about every state shoot.
I haven't been to it, and the dates kind of look like they work. So, I mean, maybe we just go up there and just check it out and see what's going on. I don't know. I might. I never know. That's the week before the weekend before the Grand, right? Or is it the AIM weekend?
That's the AIM weekend. So that's the only downside to that is it's on
the AIM weekend. So that's, I think, probably the last state shoot before the Grand, realistically, right?
Yeah, because that I'll be flying back. If I can make it, I'm going to try to make it out to Rich Bullard's PITA Hall of Fame
Mr. Mustard
induction.
himself. I mean, I think it'd be a good time, and it'd be worth seeing. And I hope that he's going to give some kind of speech, because if he does, it'll be hilarious. I don't know who's.
Well, you know who's inducted?
Kelly.
Him? Dave Kelly Trucking.
I gotta go now. I can't miss this because there's going to be so much talk. I can guarantee somewhere in there's going to be brought up how Rich has always had a permanent spot on Dave's couch in that bus, but he's never made a payment. There's no payments back.
Trust me, I saw it. I was so as you know, and everybody does. I went out to Bill Martin's funeral, and Dave drove in, him and Cynthia, and they brought the bus because they got the dog, had Duke. So just easier to drive the bus. And I stopped over at the bus before I headed back out of town, back to Sparta. And Bullard's sitting on the couch all high and mighty, before his double shoot off with Tim Reed. Tim Reed did beat Rich in that shoot off. So, Rich, I said, Rich, what? He's that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it'll be a good time. I think that's in Bend, Oregon, is where the PITA Grand Pacific
every
is
time
be, so
Dave would call me and he'd say, yeah, my bus is in the shop, I'm getting work on the engine, or I'm doing this or that or whatever, he'd say, I always call Bullard and I say, hey, how much of this bill are you covering? And he always says, oh, I don't know that thing. And it's just it's hilarious because everywhere it goes, Rich is in it, but he's definitely deserving of going into the PITA Hall of Fame. Big shout out to him for being on the show and being a supporter and helping and being an awesome friend and squad mate. So we're really proud of him, and he's definitely earned it. He's won just about everything there is to win in the PITA, and he's been captain of that all-star team, which is their equivalent of the All-American team, but that all-star team, he's captained that thing. I don't even know how many times, but multiple times. So, all right, folks, we got to take a quick second and give a shout out to the Cardinal Center in Marengo, Ohio. They hold the Cardinal Classic, and they also hold the Ohio State Shoot, which is home of the first back fence shootout. Ricky, what do you think about Ohio?
Listen, I love the Cardinal Center. I actually broke the first 100 from the 27 there at their very first shoot ever. Great place, Jake Spangler and their whole clan there. They do an awesome job at running the shoots. The Ohio State shoots ran by the Ohio State Association. The Cardinal Classic's right after the Grand, so if you're looking for some more points right after the Grand, hit that up so you can get a little more points than old Zach here. But listen, it's a great shoot. Great facility.
It really is. I personally love the RVs. They've got great camping there. They've got a great time, good shoot, good target presentation. Go check it out. It's worth putting on your list. With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
Right before we wrap up, Rick, just another shout out. I want to make sure that everybody's got that code. I'm going to pull it up here real fast. One last time. The code for the Trapshooting USA is TRAP, TRAPTALKP, all one word, all uppercase. That takes you from $49.95 to $19.99, and then for the digital version, it's exactly the same with a D. So TRAPTALKD, all uppercase, all one word, no spaces, and that's going to bring it from $19.95 to $9.99. We really appreciate your guys' support. We appreciate you supporting our sponsors. We also love it when you send in messages asking us for different content. We've got some really good people lined up that we're going to interview over the summer, so we'll get you guys some more interviews because we know how you love it. We are going to have Ian Lawrence on. We talked about Tim Reed. Nicole Hood said she wants to be on the show, which is good. We can get some female perspective, which is awesome. And there's just some other folks that are coming down the pipeline. Who else do we remember? Who else are we getting on?
Oh,
Robert Height. I know he's going to come on here in a minute.
Yeah. Robert Height, we're going to have him on for
Wilkinson.
Shotgun Works.
Yep. So there's just a lot of good stuff coming along with some people that we're going to interview at the shoots and go from there. But, we appreciate Trap Talk Nation supporting us and wearing our gear and asking us questions and showing us love. And do your best to get out to a shoot that we're at, and we'll see you. And don't be afraid to come take a picture or say hi or shake hands or whatever. So,
stop in, check us out at the building at the Grand, the Backfence Shootout. Folks, we're going to have a lot of merch there. Zach, so if we don't have merch, it's Zach's fault because he's picking it all up and bringing it. Illinois and Ohio, we're going to have it at the Grand.
What I've learned about my relationship with Rick is when it's bad, it's my fault, and when it's good, it was his deal. So whenever we have success, Ricky's winning.
The good we'll give the good we'll give to John.
Yeah, John does a good job. Ricky does a good job. I'm filler material, as we all know. I'm kind of heavy. They're dragging me along in this deal, but
Hey, hold on. Zach did really shoot well at the U.S. Open.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I've had a lot of stuff going on in my life, and I haven't been 100% laser focused. But the good news is, I've really taken the time to focus again and say, hey, what do I want to do? What do I want to get out of this? And retool my heart up a little bit and just say, hey, let's hit some targets and let's make some stuff happen. So I'm really, really excited for it. And I'm excited to see what happens in Illinois and Ohio and
Ohio. That's right. We're going to have a good time, folks. So come see us, stop by, say hello. Any questions or comments or whatever, let us know.
Thank you all for tuning in again. We'll see you next Friday.
And the Trap Talk podcast is brought to you in part by
RM Shooting Clinics. Have Ricky take your game to the next level. If you want to shoot hundreds, give Ricky a call today. Zach Nannini Financial. We believe in putting people first.